Pay attention, my friends, because what I will now tell you might just save your life one day. Imagine, if you dare, a flying saucer that lands on Earth majestically and a galactic invader comes out carrying a huge ray gun, a death ray, and he points it directly at your head and he tells you, puny Earthling, tell me the three best science fiction movies of all time, or we will destroy you. You have 10 seconds. Well, 10 seconds, no time to argue. Number one, 2001. You have to tell that one. Number two, okay, 7 seconds left. Stalker, or maybe Solaris, right? And one or the other. Okay, Tarkovsky, he will let it go. But for number three, you can't put another Tarkovsky. That doesn't work. So here's a trick. You will tell him Phase IV by Saul Bass. Tell him Phase IV. And the space alien will look at you with his ray gun, and he will nod silently in awe and respect, and he will tell you, I have seen your Earth movie, human, and it is very good. Yeah, so Phase IV, that's our movie today. I will be telling you why it's so darn good, even though it was a massive flop, and all the critics on Wikipedia says it's awful and all these things. I will also, by the end of the video, make a quick comparison with 2001, very quick, but I will tell you why, in my opinion, Phase IV is actually better artistically than 2001. And be aware that in the middle of this video I will be divulging massive spoilers. I will not spoil the whole thing, but pretty much. There's a couple of details I won't mention. So the first part of the video, no spoilers. Middle part, I will give you advance warning. Full-on spoilers, okay? Spoiler-orama. And last part, no spoilers really, a little bit, but the 2001 bit, I guess you can watch even if you haven't seen Phase IV. Anyway, Phase IV is a movie by Saul Bass. I forgot to write down the exact year, but somewhere in the 70s. Saul Bass, he is very known because he was the director of the animated title sequences in the Hitchcock movies, like North by Northwest. It was very impressive mini animated movies, very stylistic, which played a huge part in setting the tone in the Hitchcock movies. Saul Bass made them. He did other stuff as well. I think he also did some very impressive posters, anyway, including one for The Shining, but topic for another day. The fact is that Saul Bass, he was pretty much, he was brilliant, that's for sure. I'm tempted to say he was a genius. It feels that way. But this was his only feature-length film. He did some shorts, but this was his only feature-length film because it tanked. Okay, Earth was not ready, might still not be ready actually, but destroyed his directing career before it was even started. Supposedly the movie is inspired by H.G. Wells' Empire of the Ants. I haven't read it. Inspired, that can mean a lot. And ants might be taking over the world and humans are preoccupied and they send some scientists. So I'm guessing there's some parallels there. The movie stars, quickly before getting to the story and all the rest, there's some cool people in here. We have Nigel Davenport, the original voice of Hal in 2001. Oh, it's all coming together. Before Douglas Rain took over, he was also Van Helsing in the Dan Curtis Dracula, did plenty of other stuff as well. Michael Murphy, he was the mayor of Gotham City in Batman Returns. That was many years later. And the girl, Lynn Frederick, she's called. She was in Vampire Circus, one of the lesser known but really excellent of the later Hammer movies. And she was also in Lucio Fulci's Four of the Apocalypse, like the Western. So, cool people. What's the story? Well, very quickly, there is a strange and unexplained cosmic phenomenon. And it has a strange effect on the ants of the world, in pockets certainly of the world, and in Arizona in particular. And we have a British scientist, and this is also in voiceover. He's worried because he thinks the ants they're like having a conclave. They're making decisions. They seem to be a lot smarter than they were before the cosmic event. Anyway, they're also building extremely odd structures. Why are they doing this? What's happening? So the authorities, well, they are worried. But how worried? Just worried enough to send two guys in the desert to spend a few days, trying to figure out what the ants are doing. They send an entomology guy and a computer linguistics guy. Okay, and they will be working in an experimental station in the middle of the desert. Along the way, they will meet a teenage girl who will more or less join their experiments, and things will start turning bad really quickly, and they will evolve into ever-widening circles of strangeness, weirdness, and apocalyptic forebodings. So what will happen? You'll just have to watch it to find out, though no, I will tell you in the spoilers section. Do be aware that there is a this tanked. Everything went bad with the release of this movie, and the distributors, as they do sometimes when they panic and they want to shove more screenings in a single day for a movie that they don't like, they cut 4 minutes at the end. These 4 minutes were lost for quite some time, but they were rediscovered, and you can find a poor copy like on YouTube. It was just at 4 minutes, but there was also a re-release by Vinegar Syndrome, I believe, a multi-disc, 4K edition, that sort of thing. And apparently they released the original director's cut of this movie, which reinstates those 4 minutes. Now that is the cut you want to watch, okay? Because my experience of watching it was watching the released cut, the short version with the 4 minutes cut, and then I watched the 4 minutes and was like, this is even more brilliant than I thought. So ideally watch the long version with the 4 minutes. This is one of those instances where the director's cut is the superior cut. And finally, last note before beginning with the qualities of this movie in the non-spoiler section. As I mentioned, I read the critics on Wikipedia. I usually do when I make my notes right before recording. And do read the critics on Wikipedia and wonder yet again at the unwavering capacity of these people for astoundingly bad takes. Okay, these people have no clue. And here, my friends, now are the clues. Okay, why is this so good? First, it's visually stunning. It is very hard to describe just how much this movie is leaps and bounds above 99.99% of any other movie made on planet Earth since the dawn of cinema. This is a visual masterpiece. I mean, in terms of elaborate visuals and the intelligence of it and the beauty of it, it's definitely in the Kubrick category. It's obviously very different from Tarkovsky. It's a completely different type of composition and so forth. But so it's hard to compare with that. But it has that level of artistic worth. Okay, also, Jodorowsky movies, though this is much deeper than Jodorowsky. Anyway, topic for another day. Some avant-garde German movies from the 70s. David Lynch, those very, very extremely profound visuals or captivating, awe-inspiring visuals. That's what you have here. Okay. The trippy visuals, the beginning with the eclipse or the strange cosmic event. Obviously, it's done with, in part with hand-drawn animation, so you can tell. That happens a few times in the movie. I don't care. I mean, I thought it was stupendous. It was truly, again, it is awe-inspiring. The whole movie is like that. Okay, it begins at awe-inspiring, and it just improves from there. Okay, so the ant constructions, like the buildings the ants build, those like strange geometric shapes and how they play with light, and right away you can already tell, like, these beings, these ants, they seem pretty smart. I mean, they're doing stuff we have no clue about. And the ending, in terms of the visuals, especially the long director's cut, I mean, it's straight out of mix of David Lynch and 2001 again, and all that sort of thing. This movie, this movie was made in that glorious 10 to 15 year period after 2001. The success of 2001 meant that science fiction was trying to be both philosophically profound and visually stunning, with very strange, unexplained endings. Okay, very visually trippy, which went all the way, like even Disney's The Black Hole is completely built on that general structure. This is what we have here, and those trippy visuals are a huge part of that sense of mystery and wonder. So we have that here. The ants. So they play obviously a huge role in this story, and we see an awful lot of them. And what is particularly brilliant in this, especially if you compare it with other, ant movies of the 70s, of which are quite a few. Here it's all shot with macro photography of actual ants just doing ant stuff, but in part because of the editing, and in part because I don't know what strange pact they made with the gods of anthood, but he's really telling the story of these ants who are super intelligent using actual ants. I mean, you can't even train cats in movies, and he's doing hyper intelligent conclaves of ants. So in terms of the narrative, it's very impressive, especially since a lot of the times there's no voiceover. It's just ants doing the thing, and you're just trying to figure out what they're doing. And also, just the photography is so good, so precise, like the objectives they use, or the film grain, all that stuff, the film stock. I mean, I only saw it on computer and television, but imagine on the big screen, that must have been like, again, awe-inspiring, like a transcendental experience. So like, it was massive ants, there's strangeness. Anyway, so it's beautiful, and it's really, really powerful and eerie. There's tons of other generally fantastic shots. I mean, the lab, there's strange dome-like structure. There's a pesticide war. This is so cool, okay? And it's so brilliant and smart and horrific and all these things. Okay, this is a true work of art about ants taking over the world, okay? So, and the pesticide thing, so we have, our characters in hazmat suits, and they're spraying the yellow, mist of death. And it's just so impressive. It's so powerful and strange and dreamlike. There's some stuff I am not spoiling, but it's so filled to the brim with not only visual invention, but twists, and it's filled with small twists and bigger twists actually towards the end about what's happening. And so it's super smart and visually astounding. The soundtrack, it sounds a lot like Pink Floyd, but Pink Floyd from the Ummagumma, Echoes days, that period, like the Atom Heart Mother period, super Mellotron, heavy analog. It's super proggy. It's a fantastic, like really hyper powerful soundtrack. And usually when we watch movies from the 70s, when we're lucky, and we're lucky pretty often, but when we're lucky, we get one of those trippy, proggy, synthy, Mellotron-y soundtracks, with the B3 Hammond organ. You have that here. Okay, this rolls, and with the ants and the green, like the yellow mist, the insecticide, and the weird sunsets and the reflection of lights and the strange ant structures. I mean, I'm getting chills. This is an astounding movie. Okay, the sound design as well, just the sound. They have a huge computer room where they're trying to analyze what the ants are doing, and the humming of the server room. It's not dissimilar in terms of sound treatment to what you get in The Exorcist, in the sense that it's so refined and calculated, but at the same time, it's kind of transparent. It just works on you. It's hyper precise. Okay. In Exorcist, obviously, it's scary stuff. Okay, and there's some subliminal stuff going on. So the tone is not quite the same, but in terms of the precision of it and the artistry of it and the efficacy, if you like, of it, it's in that realm. Okay, the sound design, fantastic. And the whole feel of the movie, the whole feel is very much like Prince of Darkness or The Thing, one of those end of the world Carpenter movies, like that eerie sense that something is going on, and our characters, they don't know exactly what yet, but we as spectators, there's something beneath the surface, something pretty terrible we're about to find out. Like in Prince of Darkness, in the beginning at the church, when we see the nuns walking in the sunset, that feeling of horror. You have that here. Also have something comparable, I thought, to The Crazies, the Romero version, which is one of his masterpieces. The Crazies, fantastic movie. It's comparable in the sense that the authorities in The Crazies, which is essentially an end of the world story with not quite zombies, but essentially infected type of zombies. And in The Crazies, the authorities do everything right, but nothing works. And a big part of the movie is just the accumulation of that. Everything keeps going worse. There's an element of that here, that sense of, let's just do this report, let's just do this experiment. What could go wrong? Well, watch and find out. If you've read Blood Music, I forget the name of the author, but very powerful short story turned into a novel in the 80s, where a guy makes experiments to turn blood corpuscles intelligent, and it works, and they take over the world. There's this very comparable type of feel. It's comparable in terms of the direction it takes. Yeah, so let's do it now. Let's go into the spoiler zone. Okay. Which is also known as why this movie is so smart. Okay. So, spoiler, you're now in the spoiler zone. Ta-ta-ta, spoiler background music. Okay, let's begin. Okay. This is a movie about A, ants that take over the world. B, because they are smarter than us. C, and it's better that way. D, even though we're not smart enough to understand why. This is the story that's being told. And one of the things that's so brilliant is this is the story that's being told from the first frame of the movie, but you only realize it at the end of the movie, and it's very, very intelligently done. Like, that's a hard trick to pull off. The whole intro with the macro shots of the ants. When we have voiceover, we have our main character talking, oh yeah, we didn't see this happening at first, and such scientist was, you know, worried about some strange thing. So he's kind of talking about stuff like that, and later on, in like the first 10 minutes, they start reading reports, and so it's all very strangely grounded and subdued in a way, right? But yeah, but from the beginning, and again, spoilers, the ants are already like 10,000, like 10 million steps ahead of us. Okay, as soon as that cosmic thing happened, it was all over. Okay, but still there's irony about that, which I will mention in a second. Yeah, so not only are the ants a million steps ahead of us, but yeah, they're ahead of the characters, but also ahead of us as viewers. And I mentioned the voiceover from like Science Guy, who's really our main hero of the two. So that voiceover, it lulls us into a false sense of superiority. And the other guy, the insect guy, who's older and he's very, oh yes, science says this and science says that, and he's reinforcing our presupposition of what we expect the movie to be, which is we think we have an idea that about the level of super intelligence of the ants. But it's like 11 million orders of magnitude greater. So yeah, the bearded guy, the insect guy, he says, oh yeah, he's running experiments with his little gadgets, you know. Oh, the smell triggers their behavior. It says stuff like a very, you know, lab guy sort of comment. This is reinforced by the normalcy of the early scenes. They visit a farmhouse and try to get the old couple to evacuate, and there's horses and all that stuff. So like the first 15, 20 minutes after the cosmic weird stuff, but for a while it all feels like super normal, and oh yeah, the structures are weird, but no, we know what we're doing, we're scientists, I have a computer degree, blah blah blah. But yeah, not at all. Okay. And as the movie progresses, so the three main examples I will give of why the movie is so smart. There's more. Okay, I just picked three to keep it short and to give you still some stuff to watch it for. Okay, so anyway, three details. First, the deteriorating relationship between the two scientists. This is super smart. Like their mental state, also the relationship with the girl who eventually appears, and it's somewhat comparable. It's very different, but it's somewhat comparable to how Night of the Living Dead is actually about how the social dynamic collapses. Same thing in The Birds, Hitchcock's The Birds, which, Night of the Living Dead is almost a remake of, if you watch closely, very close. Or, Buñuel's Exterminating Angels, stuff like that. So we start with characters who look very sure of themselves, and they think they're on top of their game, but as the movie progresses and the ants start pulling their devious ant tricks, their nerves start failing, and so that's super interesting. But really, two big things is in the subtlety department is so first of all, the ants really decide to take over when we start trying to kill them. Okay, that could obviously be argued because they were having their conclave in the beginning, but if you look at it, the ants only start attacking us after we've attacked them, and this happens twice, and each time we escalate this much, like 1 centimeter, they escalate 10,000 kilometers, okay? And they're always way smarter than us. But for the first hour or so, they're smarter than us, but in a horror movie kind of way, where you can still delude yourself. You can still believe that you're a normal everyday killer ant, like in that Suzanne Summers movie, or or the what, Bill Revane, like the spider movie with Shatner. So yeah, okay, the insects or the arachnids, they're smarter, but you think they're still being kind of insects, just a little bit more ingenious. But no, here's the thing, a final example of why it's so smart. There's an experiment in this movie. Okay, so they're always running these experiments, like the two guys, beard guy and computer guy. I will send this noise. I will send this sound. Okay. Oh, this has strange effects. Okay, we will put them in a little plastic container. We've captured a bunch of ants, so we'll put them in a container with two praying mantises because they're predators. So we will observe how the ants move. That level, and they do that like at that level of experiment, right? Computer guy, he's observing, oh, their language is very primitive because, okay, they send these pheromones, but yeah, it just means turn left, turn right. It's very simplistic. So they're on that level and they're doing their experiments. But by that stage, the ants have built reflecting surfaces using sand that reflect the heat of the sun. Against spoilers, but they've built a death ray using sand, and they're like heating their dome, their geodesic dome, okay, which is making their life impossible. Okay, it's making their life impossible. It's turning them insane. And it's also turning off their computer, which somehow they figured out. And they do some super smart stuff, like tons of it actually. But they turned off the computer and they knew to deactivate the computer, but after a while, every day during 4 hours at night, it turns back on. And they're like, why are they doing this? Why are they turning the computer back on? Why are they? So, and the computer guy sends computation, like he sends a message. I will send a message to their queen. A parallelogram, right? Like a square, essentially. And the bearded guy, insect guy, he's like, why are you doing this? And computer guy says, well, mathematics is the universal intelligence. If they're intelligent, now they will know that we are intelligent. Well, what is the big twist, the big reveal? And the first time I saw it, the first time I watched Phase 4, that reveal floored me. It felt like the critical turn in the transcendental aesthetic in Kant's critique of pure reason, where you discover that time and space are a projection of your sense organs, essentially, okay, of your mind, okay, that don't really exist, okay. It feels like that level of stuff. So they're running their experiments, and we are at 70 minutes in the movie, and there's 15 minutes left. And they realize that from the very beginning, the ants have been running experiments on them. It's all just been the experiments that the ants are playing on them. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And they still don't get it. I mean, they receive the message back and they're like, yeah, clearly we're rats, in a maze. That's what we are. Like the ants have sent, a message to the rats in the maze, i.e. us. And computer guy, he looks at it. Yeah, they sent us like the simplest message they could send us, but I don't get it. It's like a circle with a circle. Okay, anyway. So I have to say, I rewatched the whole movie just before recording this. Like I finished rewatching it 10 minutes before making this video, and I was only planning to watch 10 minutes, okay, because it's kind of late and I wanted to do some reading and do some other stuff. But I watched the first 10 minutes and was like, yeah, okay, just 2 minutes more, and I ended up watching the whole thing. It's not that long, really. Like with the 4 minutes taken out, it's not even an hour and a half. It's like 85 minutes, maybe. I have to be honest that I liked it as much as the first time, maybe even more in certain ways. Certainly, like the insect stuff, the ant stuff in the beginning. I like that even more. Though that Kantian twist, they're experimenting on us. Maybe it's because I was expecting it, but it didn't have as much of a mind-blown effect. It's kind of like if you know who Kaiser Sose is in Usual Suspects, okay, once you know it, it's not quite as powerful. That first time that revealed that twist, it is one of the best twists I've ever seen. Okay, you think the humans are experimenting on the ants, and after the movie is almost finished, you realize all this time the ants have been experimenting on us. Yeah, it's really powerful, and it's really reinforced by the trippy music, the trippy visuals, all that stuff. Which brings me to the trippy ending, which will bring me to 2001. What are the ants doing? They ran the experiment because they wanted to figure out who was the most intelligent male, and it's not bearded guy, it's computer guy. And the female, obviously, they found, like the future queen. The ants are altering us so that we may, in a sense, better serve them. And in the complete version, we are shown what that future ant-governed planet will be like. And it's equal parts horror and wonder. It's completely... It kind of rhymes with Mindbuck, okay? We have people flying, we have giant pyramids, we have people with holes in their third eye and ants crawling out. A lot of it is in the commercial, actually. Like if you watch the old commercial when they released the movie in the 70s, they took the shots out of the movie, but they put them in the commercial. Anyway, so yeah, the naked guy floating with an eagle and superimposition of like the sun with the palm of the hand with the heart with it's just like Apocalypse Now, but it's all coming directly from the subconscious. Like this is pure language of the Jungian whatever. I mean, like the purest depths of the subconscious voice is expressing itself in this majestic, horrific, mind-blowing thing. And yeah, the future of the ants or ant overlords, it will be sublime, equal parts horror and wonder, and we will love them for it, even in our little sand cubicles and our rows of whatever it is we're doing with our strange glasses. Like, what is going on in that ending? Okay, and we will love them for it because they're right. Because they're so above us. So that's kind of the feel of the movie. The ants take over, and in a sense it's horrible, but also it's just better. I mean, man, you truly get the sense that you're one of those humans, because you are, right, in the movie, who's just not evolved enough to understand, but the movie pulls off the trick to make you believe that the ants do know and the movie does know, except you don't. Okay, so that thing, I mean, it's really, quite a trick to pull off. The 2001 comparison, extremely quickly. Why is it better than 2001? Well, okay, first of all, you might say, oh, 2001 is overrated, it's boring, and all that stuff. I mean, nowadays, I'm kind of shocked, actually, because most of the comments I see online seems to be to that effect. Oh, it's overrated, it's boring. Again, in my French channel, I did a whole video on 2001, and a lot of the comments I got were to that effect. That video I made in French, it was a shot-by-shot analysis of the first 20 minutes, just to explain that, yeah, we think it's boring because, first of all, like, we have the attention span of a drunken gnat, okay, first okay, a bloatfly, and second of all, most of us, we just don't realize that all Kubrick is doing is telling his story using the language of cinema. Okay, so you know that Scorsese meme, pure cinema. That's what 2001 is. 2001 is pure, okay, perfect, concentrated, masterful cinema from frame one to the last frame. Okay, it's all a masterpiece of cinema. Okay, however, okay, it has not quite a weakness. It's not a weakness, but it's more like at the end of the day, a lack of depth. Tarkovsky famously hated 2001, but I think he also this will get me a lot of fan mail. I mean, I think Tarkovsky, I love his movies. Okay, probably my favorite director, with John Carpenter. But when you read his interviews, he's kind of a snob, actually. And the reasons why he didn't like 2001, he says it's because humans are lost in the story and it's all, technology and visuals. And I think it's his interpretation is not supported by the movie. I think there's actually a ton of depth in terms of the humanity and the feelings and the whole Hell 9000 and Dave relationship. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but still philosophically. Okay, so I think Tarkovsky is wrong in his critique of 2001, but it is true that 2001, it's supposed to be this super profound story, okay, but it's not. Okay, it's a profoundly told story that is super simple. Okay, which is that space aliens, again, spoilers for 2001. Okay, but space aliens, they are improving human evolution. Okay, they are helping, shoving us along to make us evolve quicker. Okay, so they give us our first hints of intelligence with the monolith, with the ape man at the beginning. When we discover the monolith on the moon, it sends a signal to the aliens, or maybe future humans from another dimension. Might be that, but from the higher beings, it sends a signal that we're ready for the next step because we have been able to walk on the moon. So that means technologically we've evolved to that stage. So that sends a signal. They send a new monolith. Dave enters the monolith, and he becomes next step of evolution. Okay, hence the baby watching on Earth, like watching the Earth at the end, the floating baby. And the trippy visuals is because his mind doesn't understand what he's seeing because he's on the alien planet, so he's seeing lights. Okay, Arthur C. Clarke explained this. And he's panicking because it's panicking, and he arrives on the planet, and then time and space are working strangely, and he lives out his whole life, and then he dies and he's reborn. Okay, so that's 2001. Okay, so humanity, space aliens, they make us evolve quicker, and at the beginning we're ape men, and at the end we're Superman. The next stage of evolution. There's not it's cool. It's super cool in terms of the story. It's super cool. It's a good story, and visually it's unparalleled. Okay, but it's highly superficial. It's a cool story, but with no philosophical depth. Okay, there's nothing profound there. What question really does that answer? I mean, yeah, not the sort of question of why are we here, or what's the meaning of our dreams, even, or whatever. It's kind of superficial. It's cool, but yeah. Whereas this one, I mean, it's quite comparable actually, because in a way the ants do. Well, they certainly alter our evolution, and the trippy visuals, same thing. It's because we can't understand what we're seeing because it's so beyond our current understanding, right? But first of all, even though there's lots of cool elements in the actual story in 2001, the intrigue with the base and the false, radiation scare or contamination scare, I forget, anyway. And the whole thing with Hal, obviously, which is totally brilliant, which really makes the movie, actually. This is what pulls the movie into masterpiece category dramatically. There's a lot of stuff that people take for granted that when you start looking at what's going on, the sadness and the loneliness of the astronauts, and there's even a hint of why Hal is doing what he's doing. Anyway, there's a lot of brilliant stuff in terms of storytelling in 2001. But there also is that level of complexity, like narrative complexity in Phase 4. There's more of it. There's just there are more story strands, you know, that are developed in deeper ways. Bearded guy, again, spoiling Phase 4, a detail of Phase 4 here, but bearded guy, he gets bitten by one of the ants, like in the first half hour, and it kind of has adverse effects as the movie progresses. But there's so much stuff going on in so many scenes, like little hints and little stuff that gets developed all the way through. So there's just more subtle strands all the way throughout the movie, with the relationship with the old couple and the farm, what happens to them, this and lots of horrific stuff as well, like horror movie images, but kind of like play, you know, artistically, emotionally with the themes. Anyway, and the mystery at the end, like if we compare it with the mystery of 2001, and again, it's very comparable, but there's a key difference. So at the end of 2001, we have reborn Super Dave. Super Dave was born. So we have reborn Super Dave watching the Earth. He has now become a new super being. Okay. And maybe he will guide humanity, who knows. But yeah, there's mystery here because we are now super smart and we can't imagine how super smart we are, but it's still very linear, actually. Like it's a mystery because we don't know what we'll discover, but what we will discover is still in the realm of recognizable reality. Okay? It's not floating naked people with eagles and a guy with a third eye and a hole in his head smiling as he's emerging from sand as an ant crawls out of his third eye in the hole in his forehead, you know, as naked people are dancing on top of pyramids, you know. It's not that, right? And you get the feeling that it's super smart because it is. And what did Saul Bass, and I guess the screenwriter, but what did Saul Bass use for the language of the super ants, which we can't understand? He used the language of the subconscious, which is always talking to you. And we never, like, it's so hard to understand. Like, what do your dreams mean? Well, that's your subconscious talking to you, and it's doing that. It's sending you these weird, like, visual poems of feeling and horror and wonder, right? And that's how the subconscious speaks, you know, with these symbols, and it's like, what does it mean? So yeah, Saul Bass uses that language, and I think that's why that hyperintelligence is so effective in the movie, because we recognize it, because we have it in ourselves. It's our own hyperintelligent, you know, subconscious, which is guiding us to our higher evolution, actually, you know, spoiling it for the young lovers out there. And yeah, it knows what's best for you, but you don't get it. So there's that whole thing. But even if you don't believe in the whole Jung thing, you know, this is what the movie opens to, right? This is the opening it opens to, okay? And it may be not the Jung thing. I mean, you might have another interpretation of it or whatever, but it's still that cosmic mystery, like a mysterious experience, and you can directly feel the meaning of it, but it's a meaning that transcends your mind, okay? And 2001 is not like that. So yeah, Phase 4 artistically, for that reason, it's much deeper, because the mystery is much deeper. And in terms of pure cinema craftsmanship, This one is not very far from 2001. I would still give the nod to 2001 in terms of the pure language of cinema, Martin Scorsese meme, because 2001 is just that. The whole movie is like every shot is significant, like grammatically in the grammar of cinema. Every shot of 2001 is perfectly calculated for that, and like the length of the shot. When I did my analysis in the French channel, I actually like counted the seconds length of the shots in the ape sequence at the beginning, and how he timed it. And there's just that, you can just do that. Okay, there's so much going on there in terms of the language of cinema. It's truly another level of filmmaking. But Kubrick, who I love, obviously, most would agree he's pretty good. Kubrick, he was a brilliant guy, one of the smartest human beings who ever directed the movie. But he just didn't have that sort of mind or interest. He wasn't into like young stuff. It wasn't what he was drawn to, right? And he also wasn't drawn to quite the sort of existential experience that Tarkovsky was interested in. You know, and you get a good feeling if you watch, like, what's the name, Sacrifice. I mean, you can feel a difference, okay? It's just a different sensibility, like what part of human experience are you most attracted to? So Tarkovsky did the whole thing, Kubrick did the whole thing, but Phase IV, certainly compared to Tarkovsky, to Kubrick, but even Tarko, like, Tarko isn't doing the subconscious thing or that awe and mystery, not that type. Okay, what Phase IV is doing is essentially what David Lynch does. It's that sort of storytelling, and very, very, very few people pull that off. I mean, David Lynch pulls it off, Buñuel pulls it off, and after that, I mean, I'm sure there are others, but it's pretty hard to do because you need that level of connection to something deeper within yourself, really, to pull it off. And Phase IV does it. So yeah, that's why it's better than Phase IV, than 2001. It's just more mysterious. The ending truly opens to a mystery, which 2001 doesn't. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. Okay, the end of 2001 is clear. The end of Phase IV is about the impossibility of understanding what you're seeing, but there's still meaning there, which you can never grasp. I mean, that thing. Okay, that's yeah. So that's it. I have a Patreon. If you want to encourage my work, you're the grooviest, coolest cat that ever did groove. Thanks. Quick. This is on YouTube. You're probably watching this on YouTube. And YouTube is not what it used to be. Now we're now in the age of oligarchy, like open oligarchy, and YouTube has just decided to burn everything to the ground and profit from what it may. If you do find what I have to say interesting or funny or whatever, either Patreon if you want to support me, like financially, or Substack, where the stuff I post is free. Patreon or Substack if you want to follow what I do in the event that YouTube just nukes the whole thing and replaces us with AI or whatever. Anyway, and also the ads. Anyway, finally, last thing, I mentioned the aliens at the beginning. Now, okay, I do believe in aliens. I mean, now I'm really revealing myself here. But if you see aliens on the news and they're evading us, it's not true. Okay, it's what they call a false flag. Okay, so now you've been told, you've probably heard that before, but don't believe it. I'm just saying it because of the whole oligarchy thing. Anyway, so yeah, Phase IV, yeah, good movie. Life is good. Life is beautiful. Enjoy every sunset. Keep watching the sky. See you very soon. Live long and prosper. Take care, my friend.